Hello, how are you today? I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching this episode of the Car Weekly Roundup from Zendiwano Kampala. Studios are for the love of cars. We're going to the Weekly Roundup together with my team. Some of them have never taken a plane. Mwe joba sponsoring abalinye kunyonyi bagendeke Nairobi. Abamu joba sponsoring bagendeko mu America, Canada. I'm lobbying for you. Omuntu bwaba gwalwanirira ate tonyiga. Atugenda genda mu America. But I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome from the rally. Rwakataka yachikubi ate rwakataka achikuba all the time. Nange nkulikayo egulu navuze Benz. People think I'm just excited. But somehow you wait and see the full review of the Mercedes-Benz, the E300 that I drove. Very comfortable car, very nice car. All Mercedes-Benzes are actually nice cars. But I had that experience. I hope you guys enjoyed the Hammer video. Well, my team collected a bunch of news for me to bring to you. Welcome to the Weekly Roundup. You know how Uganda continuously goes to these forums, so Uganda continuously goes to these things to showcase what Ugandans can do. Of course, we have had a bit of disappointment when at some of the forums they took products made by people still in government and people have complained about it. Well, Uganda is going to go to the East African Trade Expo that is going to happen in Muscat, Oman. And it's happening between 16th and 17th. And what they are trying to do now is to showcase Uganda's EV, electric vehicle prowess. And the leading headlining exhibitor is going to be Chira EV. And I don't know when Chira EV started making motorcycles, but apparently that's one of the things they're going to do. They are focusing on making buses and electric motorcycles. Yeah, and that's what they're going to showcase. A lot of people are making motorcycles. I don't know why Chira EV doesn't make us like VIT-sized vehicles. We would buy them. Like if they made a VIT-sized vehicle, a lot of people would buy them because Chira EV would be able to like create infrastructure for charging. I don't know. Maybe it's not something that is visible. I am sure Chira EV could make a VIT-sized vehicle instead of making motorcycles. We already have a lot of motorcycles on the road. They are the leading cause of accidents. They are the leading cause of lameness. But then Chira EV, of course, they are saying that they're going to be making motorcycles and buses only, according to them, and that's what they are going to be showing. Now, when Uganda as a country goes to expos like this and forums like this, what do we benefit? One, we can get investors, people to invest in stuff. Because yes, Chira EV might not be making the small cars, but probably some investor will see that there is a gap to be filled and someone will come. And because electric vehicles being made here are tax-free, someone will come and take advantage of that. You know, importing it, you pay taxes, but making it from here, you don't pay taxes. I don't know if you get something. Then maybe someone will come and then start making batteries from here, which is one of the most expensive components. Maybe someone will come and then start making frames here like Chira EV does, and then import some of the components, and then we'll probably get a car at like 40 million electric, yeah? So, well, the expo is good. We are showing that Uganda is progressing. Katwata and Kokora buses, and I'm happy with the buses. We are reaching out to the Chira EV team to make sure that we can review one of their buses. I am sure that's going to be a good experience, yeah? We are not going to review the motorcycle. If they have the other car vehicle that looks like a Passo there, we'll probably also review that one. If they have the other Chira EV that looks like a Verosa, we'll also review that one. But we're not going to review the motorcycle. But we're reaching out. The goal is to be able to experience that bus and telling you what is good about the buses for the people that want to invest in the transport business. But well, Chira EV team and the rest of the people that are going to exhibit in Oman at the expo, well, good luck and represent us well. And then in Bujiri district, 12 people died. Now, 12 people died when a taxi collided with a trailer head-on. And what happened is a border, not like always, but like most of the time, a border tried to overtaking, and you know how those taxis can be overspeeding. So the taxi tried to dodge the motorcycle, and in trying to dodge the motorcycle, found a trailer. And when it hit the trailer, 12 people in the taxi died. Of course, like 10 people in the taxi, 2 people on the boda, the passenger, and the boda rider died. Of course, the people in the trailer normally don't get that damage because the taxi is way under there. The truck will get disfigured, but the driver will definitely be safe. So it's the passengers that died, and then a few others got injured, and then of course the taxi, the boda occupants also died. Now, what do we learn from this? I know one of the reasons why I read this accident news all the time, it's this. Every time we see how an accident happens, we learn. Something in us learns, and something in us actually tells us how we're supposed to drive on the road. 1, don't overspeed. Even when you have a chance to overspeed, as long as you're driving on a road where there are other cars, don't overspeed. 2, be careful with boda guys. Boda guys will lead you into trouble, and when you get into trouble, the boda guys will go away. Normally, the traffic officers look at you, the car driver, as the responsible one. So when you're driving on Ugandan roads, remember those roads are very small, yeah? Okuja Kongo Sanzenga waliwo climbing lane. But if there is no climbing lane, the road is only one lane, please be careful as you overtake. May God rest the souls of the people that died in peace. And may all my followers, for the love of cars, never be in such accidents. Muvuge bulungi bana, nebo bovuga Subaru, nebo bovuga Mark-X, nebo bovuga Crown. Please drive as carefully as you can. And then in Kapchora, there was a truck that was moving onions. You know those trucks that move farm products. Abantu abafama n'abasuubuzi batuleyo waggulu on the tray, and it's not safe. The guys that move charcoal. So you show them the pictures for the guys that have never seen the charcoal trucks. The boys be seated up there like they have spare lives. The trucks that take cattle. The trucks that move matoke. Now this one, it was in the Isuzu Elf, and it was moving onions, and the driver lost control and it overturned. Now when a car like that overturns, we see people seated at the top. Obviously some people will try to jump off and they'll get injured. Then some people will not be able to jump off, and then the truck will crush them. And then the police obviously brings the reports. Negamba, it was overloaded, blah blah blah. But it was overloaded from where it came. It was meeting traffic officers, and it was not parked. It means this is something that is acceptable as long as it doesn't bring harm to us. I find that some of these farm products should actually be moved in box bodies. It's safer. But if a car moves, for example, we have seen trucks move from Barara to Kampala with those boys seated up there. From Barara to Kampala, there are so many traffic officers, but these trucks go through all those roadblocks, and then they reach Kampala. Now, if that truck gets an accident around Mpambi, then they'll say it was overloaded, bad driving. They know these guys drive badly, but these guys bribe them. So if someone from traffic that actually can make a change, if you're watching, so that accidents like this truck happening should not be happening again. And then again, there was a truck that was carrying students, yeah, and it rolled in Tororo. Now these students were coming from Chirewa Senior Secondary School. The truck rolled, and 40 students got injured, some with broken arms, others with broken limbs. Guys, I mean, I know there was an OTV plate that was introduced that allows trucks to carry passengers, but that should not be allowed. They should move in buses. It's safe for our kids, for our brothers and sisters. Those trucks have never been safe at all. And you know, these teenagers, but they don't know that it's unsafe. They'll keep making noise. They'll do all those things that teenagers do. And then in the end, the country loses. And you know, when an arm breaks, it's never the same again. When a leg breaks, it's never the same again. So my appeal right now to you guys that own schools, because I know like 4 people here on the channel that have schools, if you're going to be moving students or your pupils, don't put them in trucks. Hire a bus. If you cannot hire a bus because the bus is expensive, hire a taxi and take only 14. And then speaking of which, people overload kids in school vans. Why are you overloading your students? Right? Don't overload kids in school buses. It's not safe, because once they get accidents, I think the kid was in matching. I think the taxi broke, you're breaking up. And parents are looking on. take your kids to school, your kid is overloaded with like 20 other kids in a van, and you're looking on, and the day they get trouble, you want the school to pay for that. You're also liable for the trouble that happens to your kids when they're overloaded. Now, the issue in Tororo, where students from Chirewa Secondary School were injured on a truck that overloaded, that rolled, I think the police is to blame, the school is to blame, the parents are to blame. We cannot blame the teenagers. I was once a teen and I know that. So probably we can learn a thing or two, because some of you guys are business owners, some of you guys own these buses and trucks, and some of you guys are in police, some of you guys are in the ministry, and some of you guys you have sisters and brothers. Don't allow your sister or brother to go on a truck like that, because it's not really safe. There was a research done by the Automotive News, and they have findings that show that people don't like, there's something called ADAS, and ADAS in full is Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. Now, something like the eyesight in the Subarus, that's Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. Now, they were doing a survey trying to find out how satisfied people are with these systems that people put, like braking assist, parking sensors, automatic parking. Some of those cars have those features, and people were trying to find out how satisfied people are with these features. Now, in this survey, it came out that people are not satisfied with things that take over the car. Things like the Subaru eyesight, people are not satisfied with it. I did a TikTok once and I talked about the eyesight, and people were complaining when you reach mini price, because people are constantly crossing through. You have to disable the eyesight technology because of that. It's a safe thing, but when it takes over your car and it doesn't let you do what you ought to do, then it becomes unsafe. It gives you discomfort. In this survey, for example, the study showed that parking sensors and blind spot cameras received the high satisfaction, about 88% and 83% respectively. Now, there are other you can always go and look at it, but there are other things that people are not satisfied with. When the car stops you from speeding as much as you want, they start speed you automatically. You have seen those things. You remember when they brought the speed governors here in Kampala. Taking over the car. People are not happy with them, and I'm sure some of you guys that are driving, apart from the times when you come to brag to us, in eyesight technology, you guys are not happy with it. And then the governor in Maryland, called Wes Moore, has announced the postponement of penalties for automakers failing to meet the state's clean vehicle regulations. You know, there are countries and states in the US where they are saying they want zero emissions by 2030. Now, zero emissions means that they are going to totally take away internal combustion engine vehicles, bagala electric vehicles. And then in Maryland, they had started introducing the penalties. If you're selling cars, you should be doing like 80% EVs and 20% internal combustion engine, petrol or diesel vehicles. And then automakers cannot meet that because bali basobora dem motoka. So the automakers reached out, nebakola app, nebagaba naye mutongere yokubudde. Right? And they listen. So of course they are talking about it. The deadline is not yet here, but they are trying to postpone to see that to see that the guys can continue selling Mario stock yawe, and in the end they can then bring the zero emission thing in. In the UK, we talked about it that last Saturday, how in the UK it's also affecting. You know, some of these changes are big. You cannot bring them at once. Like here in Uganda, it would be like the Uganda government coming and saying all borders must be electric. All borders must be electric. It's something that is quite impossible. There are challenges that come with electric borders when there's a rain, for example, when there is flooding. Electric borders are at risk. Charging points, actually accessing batteries and all those things. But of course, eventually they will shift. And of course, in London, there is a family that owns a furniture workshop. The co-owner is called Mark Lucas, and the company is called HCS Furniture in Buckinghamshire. Now these guys are trying to drive in the UK. They are trying to cut out petrol and diesel cars for electric vehicles. And this business owner, Baba Bavuga, a Vauxhall that is electric. Now it got mechanical fault, and they took it to a parking where those vans are repaired. Now those guys, they have a policy whereby they can double park. They can double park. You take your car, and if they run out of space, they get a motoka once they can put another car on top of it like that. Now, yagitwalayo like in 2023. In 2023, the spares were not there, so they parked another car on top of it. And omwaka neguyitawo nga tebanna bafuna spares. They reached a point where they had to start hiring a van. Nga bagihiring at £800 per month. For them to keep moving and moving and moving and moving. And the time reached, you know what, we can no longer hire this van anymore. And when the spares, spares in May 2024, up until 2025, the spares have not yet come. And even when the spares come, you see the crane that takes the other car on top of you, from the top of your car away, the crane died. The crane died, so now they cannot take the other car off of it. And now what is happening is, if that happens and the crane is repaired and they can now take the car off of the other, now the guy is in losses because he has not been using his truck. He's trying to build a small business. He say, I've not been using my car anymore. But you know, those countries are very organized. They are saying that when this is resolved later on, then we'll find whoever is responsible to compensate. The parking guy waba ina responsibility ajja kusasula asasudde, abaspare abamakanika baba ina responsibility basasudde, and the insurance company, because now the insurance company cannot pay. Now this guy Lucas is saying, but because this is a loss, instead of going through this, senga yagula demoro kenda senga ali wala, so he has to like make a down payment of £40,000 afune moro kenda basigalenga bambanja, so that his business keeps moving. But all this is because omukono guno ogwa crane techaakola okitegeera. And then it took me back to the situation where you park your car in a parking lot, and then you come to pick your car. Now when you come to pick your car, nga bagisibiddeyo agenze n'ebisumuluzo. We have seen this situation when we wanted to either buy a car and it was there, the owner wanted to sell it to us, nenga leo moroka blockinze oli yagenda hoima yagenda n'ebisumuluzo. We also saw it, we were supposed to be given a car to review, and the person took the keys ngate si yenanyene moroka, so the owner of the car kept calling. So under situations like that, who gets to pay? Of course, in countries where we don't have insurance, where we don't have like integrity, where osasuwa parking enkumi bidi buli kiro, so there is no way that person is going to over. And then the situations which we have had where you park your car in the parking lot and then someone crashes into the car. Who pays for the damages? Okitegeera nti wa parking ajja gamba the other car owner, you stay until you pay. And then the car owner says, yes, nkutomedde, I understand, take my third party information. So who pays? And for us in Uganda, we are kind of getting used to the issue of ainaba nene ya wangula. But I don't know what will happen. Probably if we can follow it up, guys, but what's over following turabe jechina gwera. Lucas bana amusasula teba amusasule. Ani agenda musasula. Insurance agenda muwa sente tegenda muwa sente. So if let me assign someone ono atagenda nko Nairobi. Mzee tonyiga ate wali ogenze yokko tetuyogere kumazima tugenda ngako Nairobi. Now I'm going to make sure you go. Echocho I'm going to put it upon myself that we take this guy to Nairobi. Enyonyi bwe negana tujavugawo. So the seventh African Regional Science, Technology and Innovation Forum, which was in Kampala, focused on how technology can drive sustainable development across Africa, with a special focus on automotive industry. Now, yes, we have a lot of players in the EV market. Some of them are assembling motorcycles, but the leader right now in Uganda is Chira EV. And of course, Chira EV has invested over $80 million. And you know what they plan to do? They are planning to manufacture a minimum of 10,000 buses and 1 million motorcycles by 2030. 10,000 buses ozimanyi. Chitegeza zino zonna bazita bata zino tausi. Ezo tausi zino buses zigenda global bonna bagenda kuva mu business, because 10,000 buses chitegeza we are going to eliminate all the diesel buses. Negwe wadde bagamba nti they are going to create a lot of jobs. Omanye emirimu gye bagenda okusuula, because Chira EV employs people that went to school. Bana abaana beekatwe bamusa bode bani, they employ people that learned on the job. Kat the people that learned on the job bana agenda mu Chira EV ne babawo emirimu kweri nze naawe. But anyway, that's what happened in the past week, and I hope that whatever came out of of the forum will be useful to us. Obuzibu obubawo nti most of these things bibeera bya boardroom ene waffe tebituuka eno bantu ba wansi okitegeera, but that's what happened, and I wish Shira Evie luck in their journey to make 10,000 buses by 2030 and 1 million motorcycles. Naye mmwe abantu bano bagenda kukola bodaboda miliyoni namba ziragawa, kubanga ne bano abaana bavuga bodaboda zaabwe bazisiba yingini paka kuwulira bubi. Mukama atuwa omukisa. And in this week's comparison, I want to compare two people. One, Sekatawa fuels 10,000 all the time. The other is Arthur, who puts a full tank of fuel in his car. Whenever the fuel goes low, full tank. Who is doing better and what should you do? Now, the people that put in fuel of 10k, they normally fuel that to manage cash flow. Ebisere mu sente z'abaamu n'akasente ke ng'ateeka akozesa emirimu kati nga tayagala keemalako. And what are the disadvantages that you have money in your pocket all the time but you don't have fuel in your tank? It also probably would work for people that don't drive their car all the time. What are the disadvantages of that is that sometimes fuel pump the fuel pump will die a lot because the fuel pump will from time to time be very hot and also pick up rubbish. And probably there is another group of people that fuel 10k in the assumption that if there is no fuel, people will not ask you for your car. You get, but they also say so a category of people that don't put fuel in the car because they were told emoroka weba mama after maka omubbi wa jibba aine okugitwala wanji avuga natananywa ku mafuta, which gives them a head start. I'm not sure about that, but now let's talk about the other person, Arthur. And your full tank buli kiseera. How did I start taking full tanks of fuel? When I had just moved to my home in Matuga, I used to take fuel of 20,000 every day, and every morning I would go to a petrol station to put fuel. I realized that every morning there were other people like me that are going to a fuel station to put in 20,000 or 10,000. Newesanga, you spend about 2 minutes in the line every day. Ogenda kunywa mafuta. 2 minutes every day, and sometimes the fuel runs out, and then you put in border money. Then I realized that the 2 minutes that I waste every day, I could just go to a fuel pump, refuel once a week, and save my time. What does that give me? It gives me peace of mind, knowing that I have fuel in my car. What does it do for me again? The fuel pump will never die on me because the fuel pump is always completely immersed. The fuel tank is always in the fuel pump, so it never gets to accumulate heat. So I will never have the trouble of the fuel pump dying, so I don't have to ever open my fuel tank. Fuel pump. The other advantage I get is that my car constantly has fuel, and you have heard the myth that the car consumes more fuel as opposed to when the tank is full. No, that doesn't actually. The thing that happens that I've realized is that when a car has a lot of fuel, the return pipe always comes back with fuel. So ngate amafuta bwe gaba matono, return esobola okuleta ne gakoma mu kkubo ate ne gaddayo emabega. So agali badde gakomawo ate gaddayo. Now someone is going to come and argue tegaddayo. I've driven both instances. That's the only way I can make sense of it, is that emoroka ebateza kitegeza getwala gonna egoocha. That's the myth that that's why people have it. Then the other thing you guys need to understand is that over time, when you put amafuta amatono mu tank, it evaporates. Evaporation ebeerawo gafuuka ekikakka. That's why if abanywa amafuta amangi, you'll never find someone opening my fuel tank nga mulimu kigas tegira psss. You never see that. So nga ate mu abanywa amafuta amatono wegula psss. Kati ekyo kigas ekyo oyo petrol yafuluma. That's why you realize nti emoroka bwebe inamu amafuta mangi ogenda okwesanga it gives you better mileage than enebeeramu amafuta amatono. What should you do? You should do what is safe for your car. Emoroka eno buli weesika egenda kusika obukyafu bugende mu nnozo mu lutirwa nnozo and all that. So nga ate emoroka bwebeera nga amafuta mangi, if there is any dirt, it is at the bottom of the tank. You get. So what is safe for your car? The safe thing for your car, you may not be able to put full tank, but if you can put your tank at half tank always, please do that. Tank yo ejakuba, the pump will be safe, and on top of the pump being safe, but even the functioning of the engine will be good because ojakuba at all times obeera olina amafuta. I hope I've made sense. Naye nga muddeeyo munywa amafuta gammwe ag'omutwalo mwe basekatawa. This week's tip, guys. You guys, the guys that have been following me, I've been talking about the Alphard situation we had, and it has got me thinking. Many of you guys don't even make any effort to learn about your cars, and it's terrible. I assigned a driver to the Alphard gentleman, and the thing that the driver noted was that the Alphard gentleman knows nothing about the car, and when people talk car language, he thinks in a way that they are trying to derail him from the fact. Okitegera oba olumu agamba bano boogera byabwe byaba makanika. Olwokuba boogera byabwe byaba makanika, nze bandeka out of the conversation naye mba nga simanyi bye boogera, and in the end bayinza okunzibirayo. Once you learn more about your car, you should learn terms like fuel pump, you should learn cylinder head, you should learn cylinder block, and very soon I'm going to show you when we do the project car, I'm going to show you all those parts. And then it's important for you to learn what they do. This is one of the reasons why we started this channel. Take for the love for cars conversion to get a mechanical byonna bibalage kino kikola kino emmotoka yo bwe ekola bwe kino kye kiba kifudde bwe ekola kino. When we start receiving payments for tickets, you guys pay musobola obira ku love for cars conversion mulabe muyige ebintu bino. Learn all the things you need to learn about your car, so that mechanic bw'aba ayogera ne bw'aba ayogera ne mechanic omulala, so that you can be able to osobola okugatta a thing or two n'obanga you make sense out of it. Otherwise olumu tuba tulowooza nti makanika agenda kukubba naye nga tali mu kubba, olumu nga tali mu kubba because nga ng'okirowooza bulowooza because what they are saying you don't understand. So the tip of the week is, if you can get a PDF of how the car functions, get it. If you can watch our videos, one for the love of cars, until you understand how a car functions, do it. On Sunday, I'm going to bring one part of a vehicle in the broadcast and we'll learn about it. I realize we have to start doing those things so that you people understand how your cars function. Oleme kulowooza nti ate makanika akola ki ayinza okukubba nga ne bw'aba yalikubbye ate era omanyi ki ekyomukolera. May the good Lord bless you. Thank you for being part of this week's episode of the Car Weekly Roundup. In the evening, on Saturday in the evening, we learn something new. And today we have Alex, who is a financial expert, telling us about bonds, unit trusts, and other avenues where you can invest your money without actually buying physical products. Thank you for being part of the weekly roundup. Don't forget, I do pre-purchase inspection when you're going to buy a car and you need a guardian angel, someone to help you make the right decision with your car. Ngatagenda kuba, tagenda kuyamba kubadala kuba, I'm your man. I come with a mechanic and together we help you make the right decision for your car. I also sell car trackers at 350, 450,000 respectively. Put a tracker in your car. I'll see you next weekend. Ciao.